Hello everyone, welcome back to another Blu-ray review. Today we're going to be taking a look at something that I've been wanting to delve into for quite some time now, and this is the Arrow Video limited edition of Robocop. Now, Robocop is a film that came out in 1987. It is a seminal, iconic film of the 1980s, and it coincidentally came out the same year I was born, so perhaps it has extra sentimental value for me. But it is a film that I first saw bits and pieces of when I was a young child, growing up in the 90s, because sometimes you were exposed to or were able to watch movies perhaps that you shouldn't have seen at the time because you were so young. But it is a film that I initially saw so young and have always been intrigued about. It's a movie that I've since owned several times since. I've owned it on Blu-ray twice previously to now, and this is now my third time owning it on Blu-ray. It has come out in several formats, VHS, a Laserdisc, DVD several times. This movie tends to get re-released in different packaging and different versions over and over again over the years, and I think the reason why is because it is so popular. There is a Robocop franchise that exists. There are two sequels to this original film here. There was two Robocop animated series. Don't ask me how they were able to market Robocop as an animated series. There was a live-action series, there was a live-action mini-series, and there was a reboot, remake, however you want to phrase it, in 2014, and now they're trying to make another Robocop film that actually picks up right where this one left off. Essentially, it's going to be a direct sequel to this, and just probably ignore Robocop 2 and 3, and then all of its other, versions. And the reason why I wanted to get this specific version is because this is a 2-disc limited edition that comes with 2 cuts of the film, the director's cut and the theatrical cut, and this is also loaded with extras. It also has a new 4K restoration of the film, and there's been so much discussion and talk about Robocop over the years, the different cuts and different versions. Initially, when Robocop first was made, in the production process and then the release process, it had to be cut down for very, its graphic nature and things like that in order to get an R rating. I think initially it was rated X, or what we now call NC-17, and they had to cut it down to, get a wider theatrical release. Getting into this release here, for those of you who don't know Arrow Video is originally a UK company, still is a UK company, but they've had a US branch here for years now, and this is the US version of their release. The UK version is identical to this, I believe. These limited editions are limited in quantity, and the reason why I wanted to get it so badly is because initially I thought it all sold out and I had to try to track it down on eBay for ridiculously high prices, but luckily I was able to find it for myself during my birthday month, which was June, which was a couple of months ago now as of this recording. And I just absolutely love the limited editions of Arrow Video. And yet again, what I say with all limited editions, if you want them, get them while you can, because once they go out of print or once they're all sold out, they're really tough to get. But let's get into this set here. Here's the cover art. Down here, you have the Arrow Video insignia, and on the back here, you get all of the details, and let's take a quick look at that. So here is the back. As you can see, Disc 1 has the director's cut, Disc 2 as the theatrical cut, and all of the details, which I'll read out all of these anyway, so don't worry if you can't see them because the focus is a little wonky. When it comes to all of the special features, here we go. 4K restoration of the film from the original camera negative by MGM, transferred in 2013 and improved by director Paul Verhoeven. There was a re-release remaster edition of this that came out in 2013, and I think that's where they got that restoration from. So it's not a brand new restoration, but it is a recent 4K restoration, which is important. And newly commissioned artwork by Paul Shipper, which I believe is the artwork you see on the cover here. Director's cut and theatrical cut of the film on 2 high-definition 1080p Blu-ray discs. Original lossless stereo and 4-channel mixes, plus DTS HD Master 5.1 surround sound option on both cuts, optional English subtitles for deaf and hard of hearing on both cuts, 6 collector's postcards, a limited edition exclusive, double-sided fold-out poster, limited edition exclusive, reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork, limited edition exclusive, 80-page limited edition collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film by Omar Ahmed, Christopher Griffin, and Henry Blythe, a 1987 Fangoria interview with Bob Botten, and original publicity materials, some contents exclusive to the limited edition. They're really hammering home the whole concept of limited edition here. So for disc 1, which is the director's cut, archive commentary by director Paul Verhoeven, executive producer John Davison, and co-writer Ed Neumeier, originally recorded for the theatrical cut and re-edited in 2014 for the director's cut. New commentary by film historian Paul M. Salmon, new commentary by fans Christopher Griffith, Gary Smart, and Eastwood Allen, The Future of Law Enforcement Creating Robocop, a newly filmed interview with co-writer Michael Miner, RoboTalk, a newly filmed conversation between co-writer Ed Neumeier and filmmakers David Burke, writer of Elle, and Nicholas McCarthy, director of Orion Pictures' The Prodigy, Truth of Character, a newly filmed interview with star Nancy Allen on her role as Lewis, Casting Old Detroit, a newly filmed interview with casting director Julie Selzer on how the film's ensemble cast was assembled. Connecting the Shots, a newly filmed interview with second unit director and frequent Verhoeven collaborator Mark Goldblatt. Analog, a new feature focusing on the special photographic effects, including new interviews with Peter Curran and Kevin Kuchavar. More Man Than Machine, Composing Robocop, a new tribute to composer Basil Polderis, featuring film music experts Jeff Bond, Lucas Kendall, Daniel Schweiger, and Robert Townsend. RoboProps, a newly filmed tour of superfan Julian Dumont's collection of original props and memorabilia. A 2012 Q&A with filmmakers and panel discussion featuring Verhoeven, Davison, Neumeier, Miner, Allen, star Peter Weller, and animator Phil Tippett. Robocop, Creating a Legend, Villains of Old Detroit, Special Effects, Then and Now, 3 archive featurettes from 2007 interviews with cast and crew, Paul Verhoeven Easter egg, 4 deleted scenes, a boardroom storyboard with commentary by Phil Tippett, director's cut, production footage of raw dailies from the filming of the unrated gore scenes, 2 theatrical trailers, and 3 TV spots, extensive image galleries. As you can tell, there are a lot of special features and a lot of them are new. So that's kind of another reason to get this release. But I also want to mention that this release has a non-limited edition version, which I believe comes with the 2-disc set. You at least get all of those special features as well as the theatrical and director's cut if you can't find this limited edition. So you can get, just the regular Blu-ray package itself, which we'll get into eventually after I'm done going through all of this. And for those of you not familiar with Robocop, which I hope many of you are, basically Robocop is this dystopian story of a cop portrayed by Peter Weller, and he is just absolutely massacred by this evil group headed by Kurtwood Smith, and instead of, him just dying off, they basically use him as a guinea pig for this new Robocop program, where basically they turn him into a cyborg cop. And the film is so 80s and so brilliant and so genius. There have been many people over the years who have just kind of, broken the film down and analyzed it for all of its, themes and hidden meanings, all kinds of things, from a film being anti-capitalist, anti-corporation, to a film being a whole allegorical story for Jesus Christ and Christianity and stuff like that, because Paul Verhoeven was known to do that in his films. But yeah, if you're interested, go and do a bunch of research about all the different interpretations of Robocop. So let's move on to the theatrical cut and see what's on that disc. So, archive commentary by director Paul Verhoeven, executive producer John Davison, and co-writer Ed Neumeier, originally recorded for the theatrical version of the film. 2 isolated score tracks, composer's original score, and final theatrical mix. Edited for television version of the film, that's very fascinating, featuring alternate dubs, takes, and edits of several scenes, which runs 95 minutes. So they had to cut it down pretty significantly because the initial runtime is 103 minutes. Both the theatrical and the director's cut are 103 minutes long. And you're probably wondering, if they're the same length, what is the difference? Basically, the difference between the two is that the director's cut is more gory in the scene specifically where Peter Weller's character meets, the bad guy gang and bad things happen to him. Basically, that scene is a lot more gruesome in the director's cut. So they cut out content versus time to get the rating down. But moving on, the made-for-television version of the film is only a standard definition format. There's a split-screen comparison between the director's cut and theatrical cut, and the theatrical cut and edited for TV version. Robocop edited for television a compilation of alternate scenes from 2 edited for television versions, including outtakes newly transferred in HD from recently unearthed 35mm elements. Delving into the internal contents of the box, let's first take a look at the Blu-ray case here, and it is the semi-standard Blu-ray case for Arrow Video. It is a clear Blu-ray case, and as you can see here, it has the same artwork as the artwork from the outer box. There is a reversible cover, but I'll show you that, and I'll probably end up changing it to the reversible cover just to, change things up a bit. But on the back here, you get all of the same contents that I just listed off. It's basically just a recopy of all of that. There it is in, tinier font. So you don't have to read all of that because I just literally read all of that. But here that is. And on the inside here, you get the 2 discs as well as some cards and some stuff like that. So let's take a look. There are the 2 discs, and it's done in a flip tray, which is really nice because it's different than, overlaying the discs or stacking discs or anything like that. And for the disc art is exactly the same for both the director's cut and the theatrical cut. And on the other side here, as you saw, there are some other special things. It says, "Warning, the property protected by Robocop, Orion Pictures presents." Little kind of sticker here, I believe? Yes, it's a sticker. And then here you have some art cards, it looks like, which are all like kind of stills from the movies. Let's just go through them very quickly. Lastly here, I think, is a promo card for other Arrow releases, specifically Arrow Academy. Yeah, it's Slaughterhouse 5. Now back here is just Explore Classic Cult Art House Cinema. But on the back of these kind of art postcards here are the movie poster for Robocop. It says, "The Future of Law Enforcement" or Robocop. And it's the same on all of them. And here you can see on the inside is the reversible cover, which I believe is the movie poster for Robocop. And I kind of really prefer that one over the new art. I have no problem with the new art. I love the classic posters for movies. Here is what it looks like with the reversible artwork, and yeah, I like it. So moving right along, let's get to the other extra goodies in the limited edition portion of this limited edition. And first up here, let's go over this double-sided poster. And it is a mini poster. I think it's 14 by 17. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, let's see if I can get the whole thing in the frame. Or I can get most of it, but you can genuinely tell what it is. It's, the box art, and then the other side is original art. And next up, and finally here, you have the 80-page booklet, which is very thick and also has a similar artwork that you've just seen. Here's the cover, and here is the back. And on the inside here are lots of very thick pages. And these aren't glossy, these feel very heavy paper stock. And this thing does have a little bit of heft, a little bit of weight to it. But inside here, you have things like Tale of Blood and Steel by Omar Ahmed, original production notes about, you have something about the cast, about the filmmakers, Robocop Raw by Eric Niederost, Robocop and the generation that grew up with it, Christopher Griffiths, Robocop Dismantled and Reassembled by Henry Blythe, about the transfer, production credits, and special thanks. And yeah, you've got all of that in here. And yeah, it's a rather thick book, and this doesn't look like the binding really lets you open it up too much. I don't want to spread it out or bend it too much. But as you can see, lots of extra reading material all about Robocop. And for me personally, Robocop I think is one of the best films of the 1980s, a decade that is ripe and filled with so many great films. This film is certainly iconic for many sufficient reasons. There are just so many words that people say that are a lot better than what I can say about Robocop. It still really holds up with its themes of, like I said, anti-corporation, kind of anti-capitalism, kind of portraying the evils of those things and how they, contribute to the degradation of society. We see a lot of that today. So it's really kind of fascinating how what a dystopian world would look like in the late 1980s is kind of what our world is perhaps morphing into, slowly over time. And I think that's what makes some of the great films really great, is that their themes are timeless and their depictions are timeless. So that has been my review of the limited edition Blu-ray of Robocop put out by Arrow Video. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel and please subscribe.